Our guest for this segment is an old friend, the Rogers County Sheriff, Scott Walton. Sheriff, good to have you.
Oh, I mean, OLE or?
Well,
Okay. Okay.
old.
I'm sorry, do we need to start that over with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that your phone?
That was, yeah, that won't happen again.
You know the rules.
Okay, yes, sir. Absolutely.
It's been a while since we talked.
Sam, it has.
And when the last time you were here, I could tell there were a lot of black clouds hanging over your head. I mean, really dark ones. And I thought, but you had a gentleman with you who was here investigating cattle theft. Rustling in this
Yes.
day and age.
Yes.
Is it still a problem?
2017. It is, and I think, and it always will be to a certain extent. I mean, how that's changed a lot. We see in Rogers County especially, our county is so densely populated, and, the ranches, the big ranches that used to exist are almost non-existent right now. I mean, so we see a lot of, smaller cattle operations, and it's not uncommon, for livestock to disappear. But when we see missing livestock, we look for a different kind of thief. They're not just the everyday opportunist that jumps on to anything that has value that they can turn for a quick buck. We see somebody that's usually been around the livestock industry. First of all, somebody that has the savvy or talent, if you want to call it that, to get a cow and a calf loaded in a stock trailer, and that not everybody can do that.
Well, that's the other thing too. They're going to have heavier equipment than the average thief, aren't they?
Exactly. It's just, cow or multiple head of livestock is not the easiest thing in the world to conceal. They're often uniquely marked by way of brands, and fortunately we have an industry that's clean, and the operators of the sale barns, excuse me.
That's okay. Go ahead.
The operators of our sale barns, are so good to work with us. So I mean, like any industry, I mean, you're going to see a few dirty operators, but for the most part, we got hardworking guys and gals in an industry that is I'll call spotless.
Well, now these same folks that can come in with big rigs and make short work, out of rustling cattle, they're also guilty of, in many cases, taking a lot of farm equipment, aren't they?
That's one thing that blends together, and certainly we're very, very blessed, to have John Cummings here with the Texas Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association as an investigator. He's commissioned, throughout the United States to do his job, and what a partnership to have somebody like that. Fortunately, as we get into the counties and the relationships, his son-in-law is an investigator with the Rogers County Sheriff's Office. So, we've got people here that know each other, have known each other for literally decades,
Sure.
and can work together. And obviously we see farm equipment disappear. We see things of value. I mean, as far as livestock trailers, farm implements, tractors, as well as livestock. When we get into agriculture theft, and it's a lot more pronounced when we get into the areas that agriculture is more of a part of the county's livelihood than Rogers County is.
So you guys have to cover a bigger spread now.
Certainly, and the uniquenesses of our county, the dynamics change quite a bit, because what we see is a very densely populated county population, where what used to be that cattle ranch is now subdivided into subdivisions that have 80 and 100 homes in there sometimes that need our services, much like people would in housing additions in municipalities. I forgot to shut this one off. I can do that. Do you need me to do that?
Yeah, it'd be nice if you did.
Okay.
Otherwise, give it to me and I'll answer
Okay.
it.
You don't even want to.
Recently we saw a hurricane. Well, there have been several, but we watched a hurricane devastate parts of Houston. We've seen people absolutely traumatized beyond belief who never thought it would happen to them. And I know a lot of folks think that this question is going to be completely out of the ballpark, but in this part of the country, we have occasional floods, flooding situations. More of it down toward McAllister, in that part of the state. But what we have here are tornadoes. So I'm working under the assumption that law enforcement in general has some sort of a plan to join forces, to join hands in the event of fires like they're having in California or tornadoes like we've had in the past. Is there such a plan in place?
Sam, there is, and I mean, we're blessed to have Major Coy Jenkins with Rogers County Sheriff's Office, and he's built our reserve force up. He's built our search and rescue team up to a point where we do have, that resource to draw from that didn't exist like it does now. That, and we've had, a few cases to use it, going back to the last big tornadoes. Fortunately, we've had gaps in that time.
Yeah.
Haven't had that big one, but we feel that we're more prepared now and able to work with surrounding agencies, which is every bit as important as your own resources, being able to get on the same page. And training now, mandated and stuff where, incident, emergency command posts are set up, and everybody knows that we run under the same set of guidelines where, everybody knows what to do. And these agencies, police, fire, medical response teams come together, and these organizations are, I won't say they're waiting on the next disaster, but you need to be prepared to the point where when it happens, we're ready. And I think we're as ready as we can be for the resources that we have, light years above what we were at one time. And that is, I can break that down into a lot more segments. We could talk for a long, long time on this, but just our search and rescue alone, with the utilization of dogs, horses, ATVs, and volunteer staff, we've been so successful in recently finding a boy that walked away, had some disorders, walked away. We found him, a brief few minutes after that. We've had multiple finds of missing individuals, elderly people with dementia that have walked away, and we've been successful in finding these people. So there's a lot of spokes in the wheel when we talk about the sheriff's office today. We've got our challenges. More than anything in this segment, I wanted to get out a shout out to the community that supports us, because right now I'd tell you, we need more cars and we need more people and everything, but we couldn't be more blessed to have a community that supports us like they do here. They make it easy to do your job. They make you know that you're appreciated here.
Goes a long way. And for all the terrible losses going on right now in California with the fires, clearly law enforcement has gone above and beyond, as have all emergency services out there. They're doing their best to take care of people. And I found it interesting that this morning on the Today Show, they were talking about 233 people missing. And they said, but that's an unofficial count because we're talking about entire neighborhoods that are gone. And we suspect that these people have been taken in by others or who've gone to other places. So until we know for sure, they have to be listed as missing, which is an interesting anomaly.
Certainly our prayers go out to those people. And, I don't know how we compare our disasters to theirs, but, I look at all of this and see just the tragedy of wildfire and a lot of this stuff, and it makes you want to think, I guess I'll take our tornadoes about any day as opposed to earthquakes and wildfires and some of these others that plague these communities.
Well, fortunately, those numbers are going to drop significantly over the next
so.
week. One more thing, we got about a minute. What's the biggest problem facing law enforcement in Rogers County right now?
Challenges right now are, we've got a jail population. It's, our jail's 250 capacity. We're running at 300. I don't think the answer is to quit arresting people, but like any community, we have a drug and theft problem that works together. That's not the only problem that plague communities and the surrounding communities, but we see an increasing population from the surrounding areas, primarily Tulsa. We see multiple addresses in our jail from Tulsa thugs that have came over here to apply their trade.
Trade?
Yes. So, we need to stay focused on one thing, and that's career criminals. We find out, the guys and gals that never work, that are, parasites on any peaceful community, and we need to aggressively take our talents to override their talents.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think you and I both are going to be doing a little trout fishing next week in different
I'm
locations.
so looking forward to that.
And we're going to have to get together and do it sometime together.
I really look forward to that day.
You're on.
All right.
Okay, my friend. Sheriff, we'll see you again next
Thank
trip,
you,
buddy.
Sam.
Okay, the program is called Sistema, and it is providing a wonderful opportunity for, well, a number of area children. More on that when we come back.